A simple but sharp sentence rolled from the mouth of one of the world's greatest musicians, Chris Martin, lead singer of Coldplay, and the entire music industry suddenly fell silent. "He's different from all the idols," he said when asked about BTS's Jungkook in an exclusive interview in London. Those words, only five broken, but burned the entertainment universe like gasoline doused into flames. It wasn't just BTS or ARMY fans who fell silent. The world, once again, proved that Jungkook is not just an idol. He was the redefinition of a superstar, and the statement from Chris Martin was like a hammer hitting the gong of global recognition. What does Chris Martin mean? Are these just words of diplomatic praise because Coldplay and BTS have worked together before? Or is it a sign of something greater? A secret collaboration? Deep personal relationships? Or, even deeper, an honest admission from a music legend that Jungkook is something he hasn't even met before in his decades-long music career? The interview, which took place behind the scenes of the annual music festival in Hyde Park, was suddenly leaked to the public because one of the crew who filmed it uploaded a short cut to social media. In just over 2 hours, the 18-second video was viewed over 20 million times on X, formerly Twitter, TikTok, and Instagram Reels. In the video, Chris is seen sitting relaxed, wearing his signature shabby denim jacket, smiling slightly and saying, "Jungkook? Oh yeah, he's different. Different from every other idol I've met. There's something raw about him. Honest. Like, deeply honest." After that, Chris stared out the window as if still imagining Jungkook's presence. The reaction of netizens exploded. What does that mean? Chris Martin talking about this series? Jungkook, what have you done? The thunderous comments filled social media in different languages. Not a few were proud, moved, even cried. Because this is not a compliment from a local idol, nor from a fellow agent. This comes from one of the most legendary band frontmen of the 21st century. Coldplay, the band that has inspired millions of souls around the world, likened Jungkook to a different energy, with raw honesty that can't be faked. In the midst of a K-pop world that is often branded plastic and made up, this praise is like a flash of lightning that cuts through the sky of doubt. But is this really just a compliment? If we pull back, the relationship between Chris Martin and BTS is not just professional. They once collaborated on the monumental song My Universe, and during the promotion, the two seemed to have a very close relationship. But of all the BTS members, there was one that always caught Chris' attention deeper: Jungkook. Some of the behind-the-scenes videos show how Chris took longer to talk to Jungkook, even being caught on camera holding Jungkook's shoulder while laughing and saying, "You remind me of when I was young." And now, with his viral news statement, the public is beginning to speculate. Could Chris Martin see a potential in Jungkook that even the world doesn't really understand? Is this a signal that Coldplay is preparing a special project with Jungkook? Rumors went wild when an audio producer working for Coldplay leaked that they were working on an intimate and emotional duet song between Chris and someone very well known in Asia. Is that Jungkook? If true, then this will not just be an ordinary musical collaboration. It will be a fusion of two different poles of power: Chris Martin with his musical philosophy and spirituality, and Jungkook with his world-melting emotionality and humility. It will be a masterpiece. However, behind Chris Martin's praise, there is also a tone of implied concern. Jungkook is very honest. He brings everything to the stage. "Sometimes I worry," he said in the interview, "because when you give all of yourself to the world doesn't always give you the same back." But he did it anyway. And it was beautiful as well as painful. Those words were like dismantling the inner layers of Jungkook's figure that had been covered with cameras, makeup, and lighting. That behind the cheers of the audience, behind the millions of album sales and daily Twitter trends, there is a young man who gives his whole heart to an often cruel world. Chris Martin not only sees Jungkook as a musician, but as a human being. People who dare to be honest, even though they know that being honest can hurt. The reaction from the ARMY was incredibly emotional. Many of them shared videos of crying reactions while watching the interview clip. "Chris Martin is not a man to be recklessly praised," wrote one of the big fanbase accounts in X. "If he says Jungkook is different, then there is something we should all pay attention to." Interestingly, after this video went viral, Jungkook has not given any statements. Even his Weverse account was quiet for 2 days in a row. Is he digesting all this? Does he feel overwhelmed by the new expectations that suddenly come from the legendary musician? However, a source inside HYB said that Jungkook was very touched when he heard the statement. He's not the type to be easily touched. But when people like Chris Martin say things like that, it shakes him. And in the midst of this storm of emotions, the public began to dig deeper. What exactly makes Jungkook so different in Chris Martin's eyes? Some music analysts say that Jungkook has a vocal technique that idols rarely have. His hoarse voice during high notes, his honesty when delivering lyrics, even the way he stands on stage, all reflect an energy that is more like an independent artist than a mainstream idol. He's like a street singer lost on a stadium stage, said one European music observer. Chris Martin himself is known to be selective in giving compliments. He never sold sweet words, even to artists like Ed Sheeran. But to Jungkook, he gives not just praise, but emotional recognition. He called it raw, honest, and most electrifying, different from all idols. The word all here seems to erase the boundaries of K-pop itself. As Chris was saying, he's not just an idol. He's something more. Among the comments that flooded the virtual world, there was one very viral comment. When a legend recognizes a nascent legend, the world changes. That sentence got hundreds of thousands of likes overnight. And it feels just right. Because in a world that is too quick to glorify and forget, a compliment like this is a confirmation. Like an unofficial coronation, that simple yet powerful statement continues to resonate, spreading to all corners of the entertainment world, like the timeless guitar of Coldplay, gently but deeply into the heart of anyone who hears it. But this time, it wasn't just the tone that shook the world. This time, Chris Martin's words brought a change. A confession that is like opening a big lock in the middle of an entertainment industry that too often closes itself off from honesty. While the video footage went viral and became the subject of global conversations, many then re-highlighted past interactions between Jungkook and Chris Martin. One of the most widely shared moments was when they first met in South Korea for the recording process of My Universe. In the documentary video that was officially released by HYB, Chris is seen hugging Jungkook sincerely, whispering something that at that time was only considered a collaboration pleasantries. But now, the phrase becomes relevant again. You're something else, man. Truly, you're something else. That sentence, on reflection, is a hunch. Chris Martin has long seen something in Jungkook, something that not many people have seen. Maybe even Jungkook himself. Why not? Jungkook grew up in a harsh idol system. She debuted as a teenager, lived under the spotlight since her teens, and almost never really had the space to be herself. But behind that spotlight, Jungkook is always looking for a way to be authentic. From his solo songs such as Still With You, Mayu, to Seven and Standing Next to You, we see another side of a magne who is often adored for his visuals and vocals, an artist who struggles to speak honestly through music. Chris Martin recognized the struggle. He knows what it means to be a musician who wants to speak the truth in an industry full of commercial demands.